Hi fam, welcome back to the channel and part 2 of my May 2023 mini Japan vlog. Yes, I know it's July already, but life happens. At least I'm getting around to it, so that's the most important thing. Anyway, after our part 1 stay in Hokkaido, we've come back to Tokyo, specifically Ginza, for a one-night stay over before we head over to the main part of this video, which is Nikko, which is a kind of rural town outside of Japan, outside of Tokyo, that we're very excited to visit. But as I said, one night stay in Ginza, went to get some food, and the katsu is beautiful. It's one of my favorite food in Japan. So, and then after that, we just walked around the Ginza area. A lot less people than I remembered, and perhaps what's more interesting and intriguing is that Ginza shops seem to be closed extremely early. 8 p.m. I think is when Loft closed, for example, and I think most other shops closed fairly early. I don't know if that's because Japan just opened around the time we went or some other reason, but I was surprised for an area like Ginza, shops closed so early. Anyway, Loft, place that sells lifestyle items, hobby items, stickers, Growlithe, Magikarp, which I had to get obviously, plus a bunch of other stuff for home. So it's a very, very nice shop. Definitely worth a visit. Ginza nightscape always looks grand. Tokyo in general. The following morning we went to Tsukiji Market. There's nothing interesting about this one because every person and their dog probably covers Tsukiji and tells you to come here if you're in Japan or in Tokyo. Yeah, I mean, look, the seafood is great, but the place we went to, that the missus want to go to, like, this stuff is really, really expensive. But there is also cheap stuff as well, I think. So if you like your raw seafood and wants to have that for breakfast, Tsukiji is a good visit. After that, we got ourselves another rental car and drove ourselves to Nikko. As you can see, the landscape starts to change from highway Tokyo to slowly to country, slowly into nature. It was about a 2-hour drive from Tokyo, so it's not too far at all. And we always would like to go somewhere outside Tokyo every time we visit because the vibes is just different. It's just so much more relaxing than Tokyo, for example. For lunch, we didn't really know what we wanted to eat, so we kind of just stumbled across this particular restaurant, which ended up being an amazing choice. This is our view from our table, sitting outside. It was nice. The temperature and weather was perfect. Not too cold, not too hot. This place was known for their fish. By the way, if you love eel, you have to have eel don in Japan. Even if you don't, definitely give it a try. But this is their specialty fish, which tasted a little bitter, but it was nice nonetheless. This spider, it actually just jumped at the end. But yeah, we had a little spider joining us for lunch, which was very cute. I don't know where it jumped to be honest. Could have been on me, but it is what it is. After that, we went to kind of our first spot in our Nikko itinerary, which is the Nikko Shrine. If you like your shrine, this one I highly recommend. It's actually got a shrine area as well as a temple area. So, you know, it's the best of both worlds. But then the good thing about this place, so for example, unlike Kiyomizu-dera, for example, in Kyoto, this place is a lot less crowded, as you can see in the footage here. I guess because, you know, for starters, Nikko is probably lesser known in terms of being a place you can visit. How cute is that dog? So yeah, someone randomly had that dog in the temple and I thought I had to take a clip. But yeah, probably like maybe lesser known. So hopefully, you know, if you guys haven't heard of Nikko in your itinerary planning, definitely I recommend going over for like a day trip or even like a night over, like kind of a 2-day trip. There's a lot of things to do actually. And it's just overall a very beautiful town. But yeah, that was the temple. We've now moved on to shrines. As I said, not many people at all. Was very peaceful, very serene. And as I said, if you love your temples, especially, you know, if you like to go to temples and make wishes and things like that, if you're into that type of stuff, there's a lot of opportunity for you to do that here as well. By the way, that's not for drinking. The first time I came to Japan, I actually accidentally drank it. I thought that was drinking water, but it's just to wash your hands, so don't drink it. But yeah, a lot of things you can do in temples. As I said, like you can pay some money, try and get some like good luck charms, I suppose. So the one we got here is actually for health, which is pretty good. Definitely want to be healthy over anything else. After that, we actually went to this abyss. The missus really wanted to come here. I wasn't quite sure why. I didn't know what to expect at this place. At this point, you can probably tell that the weather is extremely overcast, and definitely foreshadowed something looking back on this retrospectively. But as I said, I wasn't quite sure what I was getting into, other than kind of walking in this really beautiful kind of naturey bit with different plants, with different colors, and then the weather was nice and cool. It just feels really nice, really peaceful, and you can really catch your thoughts. But then, yeah, as I said, it's not until I walk through that gate I realized what this place is. So it's actually, yeah, so basically you can see it's a bunch of statues, a collection of statues. I think there are over 100 of them, and then there's some tombstones which made it extra creepy, in combination with the overcast weather. But yeah, essentially the story here is that these are the guardians that overlook that particular river that I just showed you, and basically their role is to make sure that the spirits cross the river safely. So yeah, it's a very, if you're not scared about this kind of stuff, especially like, tombstones and whatnot, I definitely recommend a visit. It's very spiritual. I don't know, for some reason whilst I was there, like I could really catch my thoughts and breath. So it's very spiritual. It's very hard to describe otherwise. So definitely recommend a visit. Anyway, we then went to our hotel for the evening, which is basically the Hoshino Resorts Group. And it's our first time staying at a hotel offered by the Hoshino Resorts Group. Basically, the thing about this resorts group is that, well, as the name suggests, they offer some very fancy and stylish resorts. Not resorts, but accommodation, whether it's resorts or otherwise. So they've got like different hotels around Tokyo. And we've always wanted to stay here, but it's always been so pricey. So we got a deal here, I think. And plus, I think it's just their down season at the moment, or tourism opening back up. So as you can see, there's absolutely no one in the hotel. But yeah, like we thought it's finally time to try. The couple of things you should know about Hoshino Resorts if you ever want to book with them is that, as I said, they're not cheap, but they've got really, really good facilities. It's self-sustaining, as in it's got its own restaurant. It's got its onsens, if you like your onsens, which I don't know why you're going to Japan if you don't at least try onsen once, so highly recommended. It's got like very spacious rooms, and typically you're typically rewarded with really, really beautiful views one way or another. I know there's one at Mount Fuji where like the hotel is directly designed for you to face Mount Fuji, which is amazing. But it was very expensive last time we looked at it. But for example, for this room, yeah, it's also very like a Japanese styled room, as you can see with the futons and stuff like that. And then, but for this room, it's that's a sneak peek of the view. I'm about to go outside, but yeah, just imagining there's a couch here, but imagining just chilling here, contemplating life. It just can't describe Japan's nature scenery. But yes, this is the view. It's only ruined a little bit by that building opposite the river. But yeah, you can hear, the only thing you can hear is rushing water, birds, and just otherwise nature. So absolutely amazing view. The one thing, I guess a tip to give to anyone watching this, maybe 2 months on is better. But as I said in the Hokkaido video, one thing we really noticed is the lack of amenities in what would otherwise be tourist areas, I think. Nothing's open. It took us ages to find the restaurant. This was the only restaurant around the hotel, other than the hotel restaurant itself. So it's very, very sad to see. That's a foot bath in the hotel, which was very nice. But otherwise, very sad to see that a lot of the things are closed. Domestic economy. There was absolutely nothing. So it was kind of a little bit of a waste to stay here because there was nothing sustaining the stay here other than the hotel itself. So anyway, we left the hotel following morning to go to this place called Edo Wonderland. There's actually a lot of these similar types of wonderlands in Japan. I know there's a couple in Kyoto we previously visited, but the idea is it's a recreation of Japan from its Edo period, from its, I guess, accommodation to streetscape to way of life. You've even got people dressed up, and you can dress up as well. And my understanding is that depending on what you dress up, you actually get different interactions with the townspeople. So if you dress up as like a lord, you get like treated really well or something like that. Anyway, we didn't dress up, not really my thing. But yeah, you can see from the clips, it's just showing you what it looks like. This is the mascot of the Wonderland, a very cute, I guess, dog-human hybrid, I suppose. But yeah, how do I describe this? It's just, I think it's a pretty accurate depiction of olden day Japan. It's just like modern Japan. It's also just really beautiful, I guess. And just something different to what you see in city. So definitely a very nice experience, because they've got other things as well, like games. Some of this I played as a kid. Artistic pieces that you can buy. As you can see, they're all very cute. Not very expensive either. And then there's the mascot himself. As I said, I think it's a human-dog hybrid. Or maybe it's a cat. I don't know. Human-dog-cat hybrid. I'm not actually quite sure. But other things to do in the Wonderland include plays. You don't actually need to understand the language, because the acting is good enough for you to know the general plot. And yeah, different type of plays throughout the day that you can visit. Then there are games that you can play. I believe there's also like a depiction of hell, which was actually my favorite room in this Wonderland. So you can see what the Japanese depiction of hell looks like. And then there's also like a ninja trick house if you want to test your skills as a ninja. This stuff looks like stuff made out of nightmares, but it's also very cute. So yeah, you can actually feed the koi fish in the pond. So I saw someone doing that, and then we kind of walked over after they left, and that's a bunch of fish still wanting food. Lunch was next. Loco soba delicacy. Soba and tempura, I think, is one of the best combinations that you can get, and it was absolutely delicious. Can't go wrong with soba if you ask me. Our last stop in Nikko is this lake called Lake Chizenji. It's a high altitude drive. You have to drive a long way up the mountain, but there's an amazing lake on the top of the drive. The camera doesn't do it justice. Like, you just have to be there. It was also very cold, very windy, but I think the cold and the wind absolutely added to the experience. Just how, I don't know. I don't have a good adjective to describe it. It was just beautiful. The reason why I'm showing you this is, if you're familiar with the Initial D, especially the Initial D movie starring Jay Chow, this is apparently where they filmed the drifting segments of the film. You can still see the drifting, skidding marks on the floor, on the ground, because I think even today, I think there are people that are driving here and drifting. So it's really cool. Anyway, thank you for watching part 2 of this mini vlog. When am I going to get to part 3, which is Tokyo, the Tokyo city itself? I don't know. But I hope you really enjoyed this, and definitely consider putting Nikko on your itinerary. Absolutely worth a visit.